Yay, I think we're doing it. Yay.
Okay, I don't see us live yet. Oh, there it is.
Are we live?
Yeah.
It says it is.
Okay, perfect. Hello, Support Fibro friends. We are here for our Fibromyalgia Advocacy State Rally. I have my special guests, Brandy and Estella. So welcome to our guests. And I'm a little off because I didn't get good sleep. I had a lot on my brain. But we're excited to go to Washington, D.C. We'll be there next week. And we just wanted to share with you some of our past experiences and also what's ahead and what you can do from home. So I definitely want to ask, give Brandy an opportunity to talk and ask what it was like for her first time meeting with the legislation and his staff members, so she can get us started.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy. Last time I was really excited about going to DC, but honestly, I think I was more nervous than anything. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what it was going to be like to talk to, the legislators or even their staff members. I just didn't know. And I do pretty well with talking off the cuff and just, sharing my story. However, to be able to actually convey my message and talk to them and how it would be received, I think it was how it was being received is what I was the most nervous about. But then after the trip, I realized I had nothing to worry about. It was super easy. I mean, Melissa, between you and Prime Advocacy, they made it super easy to be able to find all of our meetings. We were teamed up with someone. I was teamed up with Karen for North Carolina. And it was easy. It was just the staff members were really friendly. They were welcoming. They wanted to hear what we had to say. They were encouraging us of what specifically to find for fibromyalgia to be able to help our state representatives. And I think that caught me off guard because I've been a little apprehensive. Do they even want to hear about fibro? Do they want to hear my story? Do they want to help us? And after they were saying, yeah, like, tell me more, like, how does it affect you? How does it affect being with your family, your day-to-day task? And you know what, this is how we want to help you. And this is specifically what you can do to be able to help us better. And I thought that was amazing. It was just really welcoming. And I realized there's nothing to worry about. There's another human being that is in the, has the ability to be able to help us, and just talk to them like they're anyone else, and just share your story and be genuine about it. It was a lot of fun, and being able to meet everyone was a lot of fun too.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. And now we definitely were led properly. I know the California team learned a lot from Estella, Juana, and they brought their family with Isabella and Cassidy. So we were jamming and they were helping us out a lot. Estella, do you want to share your kind of advocacy journey? Because you go for both lupus and fibromyalgia.
Correct. Hi, everyone. I'm Estella Mata, and I'm from Looms for Lupus. So, yes, you're correct. My sister, Juana, and I have been to D.C. several times for lupus advocacy. And one of the things that we learned is that we do have a voice. Like Brandy was sharing, it was a little bit intimidating the first time. But after you go the first time and you realize how it's just, about sharing your story and the impact that you can make and help others understand what your journey is, what your life is like after an illness. My sister lives with lupus, but she also has an overlapping of fibromyalgia. And, with me living with fibromyalgia and my daughter, Isabella, one thing that I wanted to encourage her is to also let her know that she has a voice, that, she not only can speak on her story, but also how it impacts her school and, and other kids around her, and how it impacts, her life. Dealing with fibromyalgia is not easy, let alone to be like right now she's a senior in high school. So I think advocacy is a great way to let others not just bring awareness, but we need so much more. We need a lot more funding for research. We need specific information as to what we can do for our community. And I think going to DC is a huge way to make that impact. And yes, we were so excited to team up with you guys because, we know that, there's not a lot of information out there for fibromyalgia. There's not a lot of support. And when we found out that you guys were doing this, of course, we would, help in any way we could. And it was, just an honor to meet everyone. to be able to help out and share our story and how we've been, you know, dealing with living with fibromyalgia, but also sharing our story with our legislators was really, really amazing. And to see so many people so pumped up and just going at it, like Bradley said, it was a little intimidating maybe for the first time, but after your first meeting, I'm sure you walked out of there saying, you know what, we can do this. And even if you can't come, you know, doing it from home, you know, you have a voice wherever you're at.
Yeah, that's exactly some of the stuff we're getting into, because it was surprising for us after going when we learned that the NIH budget for fibromyalgia specific research was going to be decreased. I think we've been hanging on to a 14 million budget, but it was about to go down in 2 million, and it's still an estimated decrease, and it still looks like it's going to decrease. And we were asking, and then our representatives were asking us, well, why is that? Because they allocated more money for the NIH. So what's going on with fibromyalgia? And it's not, this is not a new diagnosis for any of us. It has ICD codes. It's a real, it's real. So why is our budget going down? And we need more fibromyalgia specific research. So this was a launching pad for us, realizing that we need to be more active, both locally and federally. So it was good for us to be there and start this process, which we're going to continue. For those of you, we rushed it. So we went in September. Now we're headed back in March. Short window. So we're trying to get into the House Appropriations budget, which actually showed up as a deadline of March 13th. Another surprise for a lot of people. And I think it's because of an election year. But I think what we're trying to do is get other people involved and just see how we can explain the process a little bit more. Brandy, for what you were getting for input from the legislation, did they have any feedback for you that you brought back to your community?
Yeah, when you were talking about the NIH cutting the budget, the very first staff member that we met with was for South Carolina. And I told him that, and he was shocked, like genuinely shocked on his face. And then it was confusion. He said, why? Why are they cutting funding for fibromyalgia? And I said, I don't know why. And I hate saying I don't know something when it comes to someone that's in a position such as that, because when they're asking why, they're immediately thinking about how to solve it. Like, how can we figure out like how to strategize to be able to get it to increase? And me saying, I don't know, I was like, but then he said, you know what, you need to find out exactly why, because we just put more money towards them. Why is it going down for yours? What are they increasing for others? And then the rest of them all said the same thing. You know, you need to be able, we want to help you to help us. We want to be able to help you guys. And the way you can help us do that is by finding policies that are specific to fibromyalgia, that will so specifically relate to whatever you're doing, that has an impact on you and how you're living, whether it be, you know, if it's going to negatively impact you or if it's going to positively impact you. They wanted to know about it. They want to hear our stories. That was for South Carolina. For North Carolina, it was the same thing, except for one of the staff members, I can't remember which, was saying, you know what, we want to hear specifically more about you and what's going on in your local area, talking to Karen. And he was writing down notes about everything that she was saying and was asking more questions. And I was just really surprised by that. Like I said, I just didn't think, you know, they have this, you know, they want to hear from us and they say they want to hear from us, but to actually have someone carry through and actually ask those questions to say, how can we help you more? And this is how you can do it, was just, it caught me off guard, to be honest. But yeah, every single person, we were writing down notes with every staff member. They were giving us exactly what they wanted and how they could help us. So we left there with a lot of notes when we walked away that day.
Well, and with Estella, I know we had that feedback too. And then you're heavily involved with all the process of other activities with other things, especially with your reps. So that's one goal of ours, is to be as connected. And I know Brandy, your representative, your congressman, is really receptive to hearing from you. And I know Estella is very integrated. Estella, do you have any advice for how people can get more involved with their own congressperson?
Actually, you know, every single constituent has, every single legislator has an office, a local office. So one way to connect is to reach out to their local office. You can schedule meetings and meet with them, so you don't necessarily have to go to DC, and you don't have to, have like a group of people go with you. You can just meet with them, so it's not as intimidating as, flying out, or it's not that expensive, to just drive to your local office. So I would say connect, look for their local office. If you need help finding the information, I think if they can reach out to us, we can probably guide them wherever you live. Just first, you also have to know who your legislators are. So that's another thing we can probably help you guys with, is knowing who your legislators are and knowing their local office, their number, so you can reach out to them and meet with them. So that's a good way to do that.
Yeah, I put together a blog, and I'll keep sharing the link of just how to find your senator, how to find your representative, and how to do that. And then we put together some templates and those things for at least March, but moving forward, yes, like going to the local office. Some of them have town halls, they have other meetings to attend. So it's a good opportunity to introduce yourself and let them know what is going on with fibromyalgia. And this is kind of goes us into some of the asks of what we're doing and what we need to do. So on March 11th and 12th, we'll be taking meetings at Capitol Hill in DC next week. So hopefully, if anyone lives out there, please warn us of the weather. Everyone said it's getting colder. California people don't like that. But we'll be prepared. So we're going there, and we'll need your help from home. And Estella, do you have advice for just people at home and like writing and what they should do? Or is it better to email, call? Does it matter?
Actually, if you email, it's probably the easiest, so you can do it from the comfort of your couch. So reach out to us. We will have some information for you guys to have ready, so we can give you the asks and like the technical information that you need to include in your letter, and then you can just make it your own. You can go ahead and add your personal story and your personal touch, because that's really what's impactful. It's not about what else, the statistics, a lot of times they know, but they're interested in knowing how fibromyalgia affects you, how it affects, your family, and how it affects your community. So adding that spin, so we will have information for whoever's interested in helping us out and, amplifying their voice through these advocacy, days that we're going to be there. And not just these days, I think throughout the year, we have to continue this movement.
Oh yeah, I mean, Brandy has mentioned that we have to get past awareness, and now it's time for advocacy. And I know Julie Ryan had just shared her post from last year, but Brandy, can you elaborate a little bit on what you are meaning by now it's time for advocacy?
Yeah, when I was first learning about fibromyalgia, I realized that there was a lot of awareness out there. And I was, very grateful for the awareness, because like I said, you cannot have advocacy without the awareness. How can you ask for change if you don't know what the situation is? But I just saw a lot of awareness, and I'm like, okay, now where's the action? We know that fibromyalgia is out there. I mean, we're still learning about it. You can never have enough awareness. But for those that know it, okay, like, let's stop, saying this is awareness. Let's start having some action to it. And I said, I'm a person of action. I was in the military. And when I was in the military, I never, ever went to my superiors and said, you know what, we have all these problems, and then not have any solutions. I learned very quickly that if I went to my superiors with a problem, I immediately needed at least 3 solutions. I needed to say, this is how we can do it. These are the logistics. These are the resources that we can do it. And this is how we're going to do it. And the worst they could say is no, right? But the only way that problem was going to get fixed is if we went to them and said, hey, we're making you aware of a problem, and these are the actions that we can take to fix it. And that's where I started really focusing my drive. And I thank you, Melissa, for always being receptive to that, because I've been like beating on it for years now with Melissa since we've met. It's great to have awareness, but we really need to have action. We need to have these changes. I posted something the other day on my social media on Instagram that said, you know what, we need help. The fibromyalgia community needs help. And how are we going to get that help? We need to do it through advocacy. Awareness and advocacy really work hand in hand. Again, it's about making it aware and then making the action. And that's where advocacy is a very intimidating word. I saw other advocates, and I'm like, That's a very intimidating word. I could never be an advocate. I mean, it's such a powerful, impactful word, and we think that we can never be it. But then I actually broke it down and looked at it and realized that I am an advocate. I'm being something I didn't think I would be. And it wasn't like I was going out there and trying to be it. I was just doing the change. So when someone sees advocacy, they may not really understand what it is. And it's just broken down to action. We need action. We need change. I could go on and on about it, but I will not. But this is great. I mean, awareness is great. We need action to make that awareness effective, to actually, make it impactful.
Exactly. And that's what we're working, and we're working across the aisle too. That's why it's great to work with lupus. And just noticing that the overlap with lupus plus of fibromyalgia, like dual diagnosis, and trying to get research to understand why is that happening. And we don't have good answers. And that's the thing that's becoming problematic. We've been getting a lot of messages recently from university hospitals that the rheumatology departments are not treating fibromyalgia. So this past week, I called one of them and I had to wait a long time on hold, but I finally reached someone that kind of runs the department. And what's happening is there's a lack of research. So how are doctors supposed to treat fibromyalgia if there's not enough recent research? So they can't go against the grain and just randomly give you treatment without evidence behind it. So this is where all this advocacy is coming in. Either we self-fund it through researchers who are doing that on our own and generate the money this way, and we can do that still, but we're also going to have to push the federal government and really kind of become watchdogs for making sure that the money also goes to fibromyalgia specific research, in trying to get this collectively and grow. And this is what we've seen from other chronic illnesses who have done it and followed a path and have led the way for us. So it's exciting. And I really hope that we can team up with other people to get other healthcare issues off the ground. But if we want to figure out the cause or the cure that we talk about, we're definitely going to need research behind it. So this is a big deal. And I mean, Estella, what have you noticed from working with some of the lupus groups and now seeing fibromyalgia coming up?
Well, like you said, I think Brandy mentioned the word action, and I think us going to DC, you planning this out last year and having us all just, go, that's action. That's us being there. That's us, trying to gather more people and rally them and get them motivated to encourage them again to have a voice. Research, money, the funding did increase. So that's the one thing that we asked for, NIH funding increase. It increases, but then when you go down, like you were saying, for fibromyalgia, it's decreased. Why is it decreased? So I think the action part in our part is let's go and say, yes, thank you for the increase in funding in the NIH. However, why are we getting decreased? And we need this because look at how many of us are impacted by this illness. And so I think the action would be us going, getting people to talk about it, and letting our legislators know that yes, there's money there. Thank you for the increase. However, we need it allocated in the right places. And one of the right places would be fibromyalgia because of the impact that it has on, again, not just on us, our family, but our community as a whole. Pain is a huge thing. We all deal with it. You have, this whole thing about pain, but are we really focusing on it, or are we focusing on the big picture, right? So the big picture would be the big funding in NIH. Now we have to bring it down to what we need, and fibromyalgia increase in research is what is needed at this point.
Yeah, and those are the things that we've really been focused on, and this is what we need other people to help us with. So next week, and we'll keep sharing the blog out there, and please feel free to ask us questions on like the how-tos of starting and just emailing the representatives, especially to talk about the House Appropriations, to get a budget for that. And I think we're learning the process a little bit, so we'll have more updates. I need to update the blog because Estella and I were talking last night. She's like, no, then you need to include that in the form letter. So you can make and ask the reps, correct, Estella? We can ask them to sign.
Yes, we can ask them to sign, and we're actually working on the letter, and that we're finalizing, and we're going to be taking those letters to the legislators to hopefully get them to sign, and then we will also be giving you, sample tidbits of what you can use on your letter to send out or email them as well. So it's so encouraging to see how so many people are actually, getting involved in, and I love the enthusiasm, and, with Brandy and Melissa, and I see it in social media, so I hope we get more people to, react and actually act with us and contact and reach out. Because, we're really a community, and we need to look like a community and voice and amplify our voice as a community. That's how we're going to be heard.
Oh yeah, and there's more to come for 2020 when it comes to these advocacy programs. So I know we are going to talk at a different time about proclamations and those things, so we'll get into it. But I guess this round we're focused on March. We're sliding in there before the deadline. So we have never done this before going in March, but it's pretty exciting. We'll be setting this up. So anyone that's interested now, or like we said, even on a local level, for 2021, but we definitely need to start by emailing our representatives.
Yes, definitely.
So I wanted to brag on Support Fibro for a second, Melissa. One of the things that Estella, I don't know if I've ever told you this or not, because the few times that we've been talking in person, we've had, we were in DC, we were doing all that stuff. But one of the things that I loved about Melissa is that I was telling her this problem, and I'm like, we need to have this action. We need to be able to make these changes. And Melissa knew exactly what to do. She was like, okay, she laid it out. And I make it sound like it was really easy, but it is not. Melissa has spent so many hours investing her time and energy into figuring out where are the gaps in the fibromyalgia community? What do patients need? How can we get them better? Where's the research funding? Where's the holes? Where are they falling through? And she was like, okay, well, this is how we can get it better. And I'm a little biased because I love Support Fibro and I love everything that we're doing. But we're making those steps towards those changes. Melissa laid it out, said, okay, this is exactly what we need to do. And one of the reasons we were so well received at the Capitol is because, like I was saying earlier, we came to them with a problem. First, we made them aware of fibromyalgia by giving them a little tidbit of information about fibro. And then we said, okay, these are the problems. And we told them the specific problems, not just the decrease in funding, but other areas, how it's affecting us, where we need to make these changes. And then we gave them some solutions. We were pretty much giving them the answers of what they did. They didn't have to go and find these answers for themselves. There are other ways that they could help us, but a majority of the solutions was right there. Even the takeaway, the packet that we left them was very impactful because, again, it was fibro, making it aware, here are the problems, this is where we can make it better. And that's why we're so well received. This is, I say it all the time, Support Fibro is stirring the pot. Like, we're making people like really think about where we need to start making these changes. The community, the fibromyalgia community is like, okay, like, we need this help. Where's the help? And now here we are. Like, Melissa was like, hey, we need to go to DC, and I think we need to do advocacy. And I was like, if Melissa says we need to do it, then we need to do it. Like, there is a reason, and I will give her my time and energy. And that was the first time that I was away from my kids overnight. It was very intimidating. I was very nervous. But Melissa made it very easy. Support Fibro. And that's what I was telling after the trip. I said, you know what, we need to really break this down, and everybody needs to share their experience about how easy it was and how much fun we really had doing it. It wasn't just a boring meeting that you just go in there and sit. It was not. Karen and I had so much fun walking around the Capitol Hill, seeing other advocates, talking to them, talking to the staff members, letting them know. It was just fun and enjoyable. And to know that we were there for the people that couldn't make it there for whatever reason, that made it very meaningful for us as well. So again, I just wanted to brag on Support Fibro for a second, because we're really making some strides to changes, and we're really impacting the community in very meaningful, powerful ways.
Yeah, and you're right. We have to give credit where credit is due, right? And Melissa spent so many hours, days, nights, from beginning of the day to end of the day, she's contacting, reaching out to all of us, making sure that everything is in line, that, things are, one, researched, and then after that, she plans things out and she executes. And I think that's where the action is. And that's one of the reasons why we are so glad to be working with Melissa and with you, Brandy, because Melissa really is the glue and has connected all of us together, has empowered us, and has really been the driving force to all of this. And, I really want to thank you, Melissa, because the DC trip was there because of you. And we just went along the ride with you. And all this that you've been doing, not just DC, not just the planning and the packets, but also connecting the community. We are, patient-centered. We're about the patient because we are patients ourselves. And I know a lot of people don't like to use the word patients because I know fibromyalgia is just a part of our lives. But guess what? It impacts our lives, and we need to make that change. And you are the driving force to this change, and I do appreciate that. So thank you for all the work. Thank you for motivating us, for encouraging us, and for putting all this together, not just for DC again, but everything else that we're doing. We're going to be doing proclamations. We need to let our mayors at our local communities know that we are here and that if they need us, we will give them the resources, and that in our community, if there are people living with this condition, that they can reach out to us and that they are not alone. And I think that is the most powerful thing, is letting people know they are not alone. We are in this together, and you are making this happen. You are the change that we needed. I have not seen any other organization do what you are doing. And that is why we are working with you, because we believe in what you're doing. We believe that we can make a difference, and we know that we are going to make a change. So with that being said, thank you again, Melissa, for everything that you do.
Well, you guys know that I'm very bashful. I'm starting to turn red. So, because I'm so Sheldon-like, it's all about yeah, maybe I need to learn how to turn purple. I think the big message we want for people is, when I say like no one fights alone, I really want people to mean that. I've just gotten so tired of seeing what's happening, and it breaks my heart. Like, my head and heart started to hurt after messages have come in from these from people in the community that are struggling to get treatment from university-based hospitals. So it's like, really, this is really bad. And I know we're moving ahead with Project Echo this year, so we're going to address some of this medical education. We were going to start this to sort of angle into rural communities, but now we might have to expand this into a different plan. But we couldn't wait by the sidelines anymore. So it is really about taking action and doing what we need to do for everyone, not just a select few people here. So we've really hit the ground, and we're running with it and gonna do it as long as we can get through it. And I know advocacy is a long journey. I'm seeing the other groups, 16th annual trip for some of these others. So that's 16 years. So I hope we can make the changes faster, because I am tired.
We will make the change faster. You are doing so much more than anyone else has done for the fibromyalgia community. And I think, again, going back to what you are doing, you're looking at how to reach out to providers, how to educate them, how do we reach out to these rural communities, everything else that everyone's talking about. Let's see how, this impacts the rural communities. How do we get these socioeconomic, issues and concerns? Well, yeah, it's great to talk about that, but action, what are you doing to do it? And you are actually taking action, and I see that. We're gonna make this happen, and I know we are, because I know that you are determined, and again, you're our driving force, and we are here with you.
Well, and we have the amazing team. You guys are all been amazing as well. And I know people out there, please, hope, it to me is always a funny word, and sometimes I just don't know what to replace it with, but I'm hoping people just you know, just know there are people behind the scenes working really, really hard. So please don't give up. I've come from a personally dark place to come into driving this. So we're not going to let you down, and we will be fighting. And if you don't see us yet, please share this with other people that may be struggling, and share this around and let them know, you know, all of us, these fibromyalgia advocates, we are headed to DC. We all are fighting locally on the ground too. So there is stuff happening. Don't give up.
Yeah, we're not just talking the talk, we're walking the walk as well. The community is tired of hearing about all these supposed changes that are coming. Well, Support Fibro is making those changes. And if you want to come along for the ride, we'll have you with us.
Please do come along. We need all of you writing in, talking, whatever level. If you're not interested in advocacy, there's other opportunities to get involved. Send, like we said, medical education. We like having patient workshops. I know Estella does a great job with support groups and those things here in Los Angeles, and she's been training other people. And you guys do so much traveling around. So there's actually a lot of support out there, a lot of fibromyalgia actually worldwide. And we're seeing the comments come in like, how can we do this? How can we do this? So we'll get it all connected soon.
So reach out to us, reach out.
Yeah. We need to figure out that international, because I actually just tagged Support Fibro in 2 comments the other day, earlier this week, about Australia, I think it was, or Denmark, and the UK wanting to get involved too. Like, we really need to take this global.
Definitely. You know, there's so many people that are impacted by fibromyalgia, and, you know, anything we can do to bring it international. And I think the more we have, the more people we have, and the more organizations that are willing to work with us and partner, I think the better off we are. Like I said, you know, we can't do this alone. We can't. So we just need to work together and get this this movement to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, I mean, if anyone has any last parting words before we end, please feel free, but otherwise.
I'll show you my little motivation, stress relieving, what is it, like the capital here? So we could, I think it's DC. So we have it here. So, you know, this is what should encourage you. You know, it's just a step away. Your voice is that close to you. You could feel empowered. Let us know how we can help you. Again, you don't have to fly out there. You can do this from your home. You can do this from your couch. You don't even have to get out of your pajamas. You can do it from your, you know, wearing your pajamas on your couch. So let us know how we can help you. We want to encourage you. We want to empower you. And again, you know, shining the light to those people that may seem to be alone or may think they are alone. They are not alone. We are here for you, and we are going to represent you as well, even if you're not with us in DC. So just, you know that we're here for you.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, on the Being Fibro Mom blog, beingfibromom.com, I posted a lot of pictures from Advocacy Day back in September. If you just go to the blog and in the search bar, just type in advocacy, there's several articles about, I pretty much broke it down on how we got there and what we did. And I mean, even if you just want to look at the photos, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. So, I mean, it's worth every step if you just want to come along with us. And like Estella said, even if you can't make it there with us, you know, just share your story, or, you know what, you just like this post and share it out. I mean, that helps too. If you like or comment on anything about fibromyalgia advocacy and what Support Fibromyalgia is doing, then all your friends and family can see it. You want to take it a step further and share it out, because you know what, somebody can do something, and just by liking, commenting, or sharing, you know, gets the word out there. It's that awareness we need for this advocacy action to actually be able to work.
Yeah, and do you want to let them know where they can get more information, Melissa, the website?
Oh, supportfibro.org, and we'll be sharing out the blog specifically on the how-tos for, you know, just contacting your representatives for next week. And you can always reach out through our social media accounts at Support Fibromyalgia. I know Twitter is different because someone had that, so it's Team Fibro. But usually just we're going by hashtag Support Fibro, Support Fibromyalgia, and you can easily find us. I mean, we're spreading all over the internet. And we'll be sure to share Brandy's blog. The plan was for next week to start sharing all of that to inspire you. And if you guys have ideas for what's ahead, we've been thinking about some advocacy kits. I've been looking at what other people are doing. I guess the politicians, they have the signs and the kits. So I was like, maybe we should do that. So lots of ideas coming down the pipeline.
Awesome.
Well, thank you to our special guests, and we'll be checking in from Washington, D.C. often and sharing lots of pictures. So be sure to tune in to the Support Fibromyalgia page, Being Fibromom, Looms for Lupus, all their pages and social media accounts, because you're going to see a lot of content being posted. And please reply and share and even tag your own reps in those posts as well. Wait, oh, I need to.
Oh.
Okay, well, thank you to our Support Fibro friends. We will see you next week in Washington, D.C.
Yay, bye.
Bye.